This elderly man in provocative clothing, 38 years old, showed up at a school full of young men. Various individuals are promptly attracted to her hot and well-padded body. To hang tight for her, she advanced toward the structure's base. As he was leaving class, Belfast's 19-year-old boyfriend saw his girlfriend in this outfit. His eyes got bigger from a good distance away, but he remained still. He was invited to the art show by Alice, who didn't know what to do. He mumbled excitedly, "I can go sometime." Belfazzer is overjoyed as he says his goodbyes to Alice. The fashion publication's editor is Alice. She was venturing out for business to an unfamiliar printing organization to direct creation. However, she was hounded by a man on the return flight. Out of frustration, she dragged the young man who had just taken the SAT down. The man who was taking architecture classes went by the name Balthazar. He had never been on a first-class flight before. As a result, he was particularly excited. He is enjoying himself playing with the flat seat. The airplane lands on the ground. The two men had a concise discussion. Suddenly, Belfazzer noticed a flash drive on the ground. He attempted to holler at Alice subsequent to getting it. Be that as it may, she had proactively left the plane. Because she was too far behind to catch up, Alice took her car out of Belfast. When Alice returns to work, she finds out that Lise is attempting to take her place. She tried to talk to her boss about it, but he told her that Lee's personality was more free-spirited and would not be controlled. Lee has been married 8 times, including 5 marriages to men and 3 marriages to women. She has also returned to being single. After being apart for a considerable amount of time, you are currently uninterested in anything but work. Because you have lost your zest for life, you are unable to edit the content that your customers enjoy. Despite the fact that Alice was already upset enough at this point, she was unable to locate the flash drive. When she read a note left by her assistant, she realized that Belfer, sir, had discovered her flash drive. She called in a hurry to inquire about it. In a club, the Belfazzer was. When he heard Alice's voice on the phone, he became unusually anxious. At the point when Alice showed up presently, Belfast welcomed her from a good ways and illuminated her that he missing the mark on streak drive right now. Mentioned that he get the flash drive rapidly. Belfast Azure had to take her home. At Belfair's pink bike, they showed up. He was kind and helped her put on her helmet. Alice's coworker happened to see the scene. Alice was successful in obtaining the flash drive from the 2 gossips following the men's search. As she left after she left, Beauty Fuzzer emerged and requested that she meet him for espresso. He murmured tremblingly. His thoughts were apparent to Alice. She said that because you were too young, you weren't compatible. As a result, she turned him down. The next day, when Alice got to work, her coworkers were giving her strange looks. She finally got her answer from her partner. It worked out that everybody had seen the photographs from the previous evening. However, this will be extremely amusing to her boss. He thought it was cool that Alice was in love with someone 20 years younger than her. With the support of her friends, Alice decides to connect with Balthazar in order to keep her job, so she changes out of her usual modest attire. She makes an appearance to school in a provocative outfit and requests that Balthazar go with her to a show. Around midnight, the woman gets up and opens the door. The man talks out the door. The woman was in his arms as he entered the house. The woman does not refuse. She drove the man straight into the room following quite a while of being single. The noise they made surprised the downstairs neighbors who were walking his dogs. To keep her work, Alice offers to welcome Chime Fuzzer to a craftsmanship show. Alice's magnificence in a tasteful dark dress left Belfast dumbfounded. He was constantly praising her for her beauty. All things considered, what young man doesn't love a delightful, mature lady? Alice helped him inconspicuously with his garments. Despite the fact that their behavior appeared to be typical of a couple, she was aware of how she was behaving. Balthazar seemed to be having a great time, she noticed. Alice was embarrassed. With the pietism of a grown-up Balthazar, Alice adulated the coordinator for his creative capacities. According to the person who had returned with the wine, the organizers did not need to do anything fancy. To conceal her clumsiness, Alice snickered. Belfast kindly followed her with his umbrella after the show. At the point when Alice returned the call, he shielded himself from the cruel. Alice lied about the place where her daughter was being treated. Balthazar therefore released Alice as soon as he ran to stop a car. The umbrella had to be given to the passenger by Balthazar. He had just come out of the car. On this day, Alice took Balthazar to the company's runway show. She took the occasion very seriously because the president of the group was also visiting. Notwithstanding, a mishap happened during the exhibition. One of the models fell after tripping. Belfast helped her get to the runway right away. The president, who had gone to various ordinary runway shows, battled. It was a one-of-a-kind episode that Alice spontaneously planned. Alice wanted to keep doing what she was doing in front of the manager. She took Balthazar to the company's reception. She observed Lee's incessant asking of other people questions. She was concerned that her plan would fail if she was discovered. Alice quickly drags Balthazar onto the dance floor. An intimate dance intensifies the deeply in love atmosphere. On his pink bike, Belfast takes Alice back to her house. He wanted to be seated upstairs. Because Alice can discern his thoughts, he rejects her. But how could he give up when he was in love? He has the audacity to pound on Alice's doorway. Alice cautiously opened the door. He was standing outside the door when Belfast found out that Alice was home alone. He immediately gave her a hug. After their evening together, it was clear that they were content. It's amazing how a woman in her 40s can fall in love with a boy. Belfast, he will frequently surprise you on a date or leave a message on the tree. He instructed Alice to follow the arrow to locate the Pages 3 entangled beneath the seat bench. He then, at that point, rode his pink bike dependent upon her. She drove Alice aimlessly through the city. An unfortunate child feels this way. Alice had previously seen a lot of extravagant restaurants and roses, but this time she took part in the openness and simplicity. Alice was able to keep her job, as she had hoped. She was also debating whether or not to keep up this fictitious relationship. A date had been set for this day by Balthazar. He richly expressed his expectations for the in any case. Alice made some noise straightforwardly. "You are still young when I get old," she said. "Don't expect us to be content. The age of my daughter is 8. As a result, I can only make use of our weekend time together. Along these lines, I don't believe that you should lose your young life." In Belfast, this surprised many people. He simply did not know how to maintain the sensible woman. They broke up. When Balthazar got home, he was devastated and depressed. He stayed at home all day and never left. On the other hand, Alice's boss changed the breakup. She was very enraged as she looked at the work. Last but not least, she finds the young male model who appeared on the runway earlier attractive. Alice's boss is unaware of the breakup between her and Balthazar. As a result, he asks Alice to hire him and threatens to fire her. Alice traveled alone to Belfast. He believed that Alice was trying to get back together with him. He retreated in rage and said, however, when he discovered Alice's ultimate goal. "I am aware that Alice couldn't wait for dates at the shoot the following day." Balthazar didn't answer his phone when she thought he wouldn't be there. She went to deliver her report to her boss. Anyway, by then the associate came and said that Balthazar was by then doing the selection. Balthazar was busy putting on cosmetics when Alice's companion appeared. He informed Balthazar that Alice was just utilizing him to get her advancement. Bethesda did not demonstrate its intelligence. He showed up to the shoot as usual. He was, however, so enraged at the photographer's disrespectful behavior during the shoot that he immediately left and jumped into the water. Alice went after him and apologized. At this point, Alice and Belfast are being accused of being constrained prior to each one. Despite the current situation, Alice has nothing to say about how she deceived him for his profession. Her boss let her go as well because of the con. She ended up finding Belfast shoes one day. She for the most part looked at the shoes for a long time calmly. It was right when her daughter called her from behind that she answered. She realized that Balthazar had captured her heart. As a result, she made the decision to ignore her faculties and pursue her affection. Alice's coworkers pointed her toward the beauty bubble study room. Alice declares her love for Belfair in front of everyone. Right when Belfair examined their future, Alice kissed him intentionally. Isn't that what love is all about? If you're in love, don't let the outside world confuse you. Just be courageous and experience everything. Do it with courage and without remorse. Turn on notifications, Please subscribe for more videos like this, and like the channel to support it. Thank you very much for watching.